Welcome back to another episode of the Gun Collective News. I'm John Patton, and I can't decide if I love these camo hey dudes or if I hate them. Are they for the hunter in your life that's just given up on everything? Or are they for the fashion-forward deer skinner? Link in the description for you heathens that will definitely want to know where to get them. Some of you guys are just absolute lunatics with what you wear. Now, the news. This is a news show. Let's do the news, huh? Well, start things off with the FBI National Instant Check System numbers from last month. We landed at 2.16 million background checks for September 2024. This is up by about 60K from last year's numbers. Not crazy amount. And it actually follows a normal trend from previous years to be down from August numbers. That said, we have yet to dip below 2 million background checks for any month this year and have hit a total of over 20.3 million so far this year. As always, these numbers are not a one-to-one ratio for guns sold, but rather a trend indicator. The trend I'm seeing is that we have sort of achieved a new normal for the industry. That 2 million mark is sort of our new normal. The election in November will likely determine the next few years for the industry, but it is very interesting to see this leveling out between 2 and 2.5 million checks. In fact, the average so far this year is 2.26 million per month. I'm very curious to see how the rest of the year plays out. We're going to find out soon enough. Also in industry news this week, IWI USA, or IWI US more specifically, is looking to expand their manufacturing to the great state of Tennessee. Shout out to everyone that's underwater down there. More specifically, Andersonville, Tennessee. This is a small town about half an hour north of Knoxville. My own personal speculation is that this is potentially a way for them to exit out of my home state here in Pennsylvania as it turns more and more anti-gun over time, and or it could just be them expanding the business here in the U.S. With Israel being under constant stress of war, it's very likely that they're having a hard time keeping the supply of guns that are still made over there flowing into the U.S. So perhaps this is an effort to sort of insulate the U.S. side of the business from such things. Geopolitical warfare guys, sound off in the comments if you agree. Also, if you are looking to help the efforts in North Carolina and Tennessee, reach out to Mr. Guns and Gear, Guns and Gadgets, and Johnny B. They are the ones leading that charge from the GunTuber space. While you're typing all that stuff up, how's about a word from our sponsor this week, Wooks? Wooks offers everything from rifle chassis to furniture for your 12 gauge, all with a big helping of beautifully finished, ultra stylish wood. They just released this new Superleggera, aka Super Light stock for your Remington 700, Howa 1500, Tika T3, and more. I'm planning to use it as the base for a lightweight long action hunting rifle. And now you can get this Superleggera as part of a hunting pack with the new Terra Axe and Bad Boy Hunter knife. Big thanks to Wooks for sponsoring this week's video. How's about a couple new suppressors? AAC announced a sort of remix of one of their most popular cans of all time, and arguably one of the sort of OG cans that was like a standard, called the M4 2000. This new version comes with what they're calling oversized baffles, and they claim that this will eliminate some back pressure and minimize end cap strikes on SBRs. It's actually got a bore diameter that will handle a 6 mil arc. That's cool. They also have given it the industry standard hub mount on the rear, so you can use whatever mounting system you like. That's nice. We've found standardization there. And now it's called the Hub 2K. The other interesting thing about this can is that, unlike the previous model, this one is 3D printed using Inconel. The old can was known for being pretty damn durable, and I suspect this will follow suit given that material choice. However, the MSRP does sting a little bit at $1150. Gemtech also has a few new cans this week, but it's a more simple update, I guess. They released the direct thread versions of the Abyss 556 and 762, as well as the Neutron 762. MSRPs in that same order are $719, $749, and $710. I couldn't tell you the difference between the two product lines, so I guess it's good that they're all just kind of priced the same. Gemtech, what's going on here? In accessory news, MDT released a new carbon CRBN stock. This is made from foam-filled carbon fiber, which means it's lightweight and still strong. And it's pretty rad to see more companies finding interesting ways to blend lightweight materials and maintaining strength and durability. And they say the foam filling here will help to dampen recoil, which that's neat. I don't know. Sure, that's cool. With their hunting style bottom metal, the total weight is 30 ounces for the whole thing, and it can be had in 3 different color patterns. That's neat. I like stuff like this, but the price tag does match the coolness. MSRP is $1,300. This next one is this is an interesting situation here. This is a new gun from Watchtower Firearms called the Demolitia. Clearly, this is a collaboration with them and Demolition Ranch. And the gun is decked out in this sort of black and gold theme. It comes with a total of 4 mags and a soft case, then a hard case to go with that. It's a 5-inch barrel 9mm, blah, blah, blah. Same stuff you'd expect. It's ported. That's cool. They're limited production to 500 units, and the MSRP is $4,800. Not what I would call affordable, but I'm sure they'll probably sell them. The interesting part of this is that Watchtower, which was formerly known as F1 Firearms, is currently involved in a really nasty legal battle against former ownership of the company. And in one of the documents I obtained, the current CEO, Jason Kolosti, is accused of being a con man, hiding financial losses, basically like hiding the fact from investors that the company's struggling, and breaking the law. And the former ownership is being accused of a plethora of illegal activity themselves and other predatory behaviors. It's kind of a shit show. And all that to say, there's not a chance in hell that I'd be placing an order with a company that's in that kind of situation for that amount of money. No way in hell I'd risk that amount of money to potentially not get my gun. Not happening. Speaking of brands known for AR-15s, how about POF USA? They just announced a new one called the P15 Base. This is their attempt at making a budget base rifle. It's a 16-inch forged receiver, and its only real thing making it unique is the roller cam pin, which should smooth out cycling. Sometimes a spec sheet doesn't tell the whole story, and this one is boring enough to put you to sleep. MSRP here is $1,000. It's very possible that this is a good rifle. I'm not saying it's not a good rifle. And everyone certainly needs a place to start, but you guys know I'm not a huge fan of Me Too products, and I feel like this could have existed in POS, like Rolodex, like years ago. Like, why now? Now, before we get into a couple more guns, I'm going to hit you with the deal of the week. I've got a smoking one for you this time. This is actually a really, really good deal. The folks at Wheeler know how much you guys like their tools. We've put them on the deal of the week a few times, and they said they're going to do something special for you. The Fat Sticks torque wrench set, it's like preset torque things. They're normally 20% off when you use our link. That's already a good deal. But they said, F that, we're going to give you a code to make it 30% off. And in this case, I think it's like $30 off. And I believe that is currently the best deal on the internet for this set. The code is TGC Sticks. That's TGC STIX. There'll be a link in the description, and you use that code at checkout. And I keep a set of these in my range bag to make sure everything's torqued down correctly. I've lost a few optics because I didn't torque down the screws and it went yeet. So this is a good way to prevent that. Again, the code is TGC STIX. Now, how about some new guns? We like guns here, right? Springfield is in the news again this week. And this time it's not what you might think. It's a quote-unquote new version of the XD called the Mod 3. The Mod 2 was released like a decade ago almost at this point. So I suppose it's time for an update. As with a bunch of their handguns, this is still made in Croatia by HS Product. If I'm not mistaken, the Echelon is also being made there, and so is the XD. It has a solid feature set that you might expect from the XD. It's basic, it's still that same gun. It's got a pick rail up front, steel sights, loaded chamber indicator, and now it's got a flat trigger, which is not bad, and the frame has a couple changes to the texturing. I don't think there is a grip zone this time, though. On top of that, it's now optic cut from the factory. That's nice. There's new slide serrations, and that's not really why I'm covering it. The MSRP is why I'm covering it. The MSRP here is $325. Holy shit, right? That's super affordable for something like this. Now, I know the XD is not everybody's favorite. Some people hate the damn thing, but for that money, that's a solid deal. Assuming it's not a pile of trash, of course. Having more and more affordable options out there is not a bad thing. That's great for getting more people armed affordably. That's kind of in the words, yeah. Kimber is in the news this week with a new pistol. I've seen virtually nothing on this gun anywhere else. It's kind of it's pretty interesting. It's called the CDS-9, or Covert Double Stack 9. Essentially, this is the little brother to the KDS-9C. It appears to me that this is basically a hammer-fired version of the very popular micro-compact market that everyone has gotten into since the 365 was launched a bunch of years ago. There are two models of this CDS-9 on launch. First is the CDS-9 ORRL. I think that stands for Optic Ready with a pick rail on the front. The barrel length is 3.18 inches. The slide has this sort of fish scale serration going on, and it's optic cut for the RMSC pattern. It's got a manual safety, decent-sized beaver tail on the frame, and the grenade-style grip all the way around, and it's got what I'm going to call a semi-flat trigger. The extendo mags are 15 rounds in capacity, with a 10-rounder being the fleshy. Honestly, I think it looks great. I think that looks rad. Also, there is the CDS-9 ORRL TFS, which is basically the same gun with a threaded barrel. I was really hoping that this was going to be priced in the same ballpark as some of the, I don't know, nicer micro-compact guns out there, but as per usual with Kimber, they're smoking the finest methamphetamine, and the MSRP is $10.75 for the non-threaded and $20 more for the threaded version. Kimber, look, like, I know you guys might see this. I'm telling you this because I want to see you make stuff that isn't going to collect dust on the shelf at Cabela's. This gun should be priced at like $700 to $800, not $1,100. Kimber's reputation amongst enthusiasts is weak at best, and pricing like this is not going to gain any favor. Don't get me wrong, I want to try it because it looks great. I think it could be a cool gun, but I don't think I want to pay that much for it. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this thing. Am I way off? Is this really cool? Sound off in the comments, and don't forget to